The book count, that's basically that's basically because of the number of objects we created, right?
See, we can have that logic. That is building the logic. Okay, you can put anywhere depending upon the logic. But the nature of it, what is the property of this? This is a class level variable. So if I
Yeah.
want to display class level variable, I can display using any object name dot variable, or I can even use class name dot book numbers also can use it here, or I can use f1 dot okay f1 dot all will give me same result. I can call it f1, I can call it f2, I can call it f3. Okay, all will give me same result because it's a class level variable. We have defined it as in the class, not inside any function using itself. So if I have to call it, yes, I have to use class name, okay, and it will give us same result,
Yeah.
right? But since this is object level, when we say self dot, if the f1 dot title is not same as f2 dot title, is not same as f3 dot title, okay. So I want immediately after the class, I want you to practice. I will add this to the running notes before I end the session. In front of you all, I'll add it. I want you to practice this because if you don't get this, it will be difficult as to move ahead. Okay.
Yeah. The book count here, and it gives us three count because we have created three objects of the same class, right?
Which one?
Uh, if you go up top, we have book count, right?
Book on, huh? Why it's even three is because we added this in the init. Okay.
Yeah,
In init, it is called automatically. Okay.
yeah. Then
Init
this
will
is the number
increment
of,
automatically. So
yeah,
by the
it
time,
will
yes,
increment based
huh,
on the number of objects we create here
exactly,
in this case.
exactly.
Okay.
That's what it means, right? When you say I have 10 books, that means you have created 10 books to the library.
Yeah.
Okay. So
But
is that right?
this
Yeah.
self, defining the self.
Mhm.
If we don't give any variable here, it will just create an object with itself without any parameter, right? Without any actual parameter,
This
right?
one you're saying?
In the def int, if we don't give a b c d here,
How will
and if
see
we are
it's
not
it's, it's the property of function. So you forgot function. Function we decided that we talk about required position argument. This is about required position argument. So when you see in calling you are giving four variables. So when you are reading it, you have to accept the four variables, isn't it?
no. If I'm not giving any variables and if I'm not passing any
Then there is
variables,
no you know. So see, so in that case, you have to have something called as so let's say okay. So let's say I don't give ABC, okay, and I comment these all. Okay, I comment these all. Okay, and here you're saying okay, I'll comment these all as well. Okay, and I'm simply saying f1 equal to book. This is what you want, right?
yeah.
Yes. No, you tell.
No, in this case, it's just creating an object by itself and it has no actual value,
See,
right?
f1 equal to book is the way to create, correct? This,
Yeah,
this, this is created. Now, so f1 will not have name or title. When I try to run it, it will not. What I need to do is, okay, I need to, because see, your book will have name, right? We talk about object, or object will have some property. I'm not saying name, like depending upon a business case. If you're talking about book, probably book will have a title. Okay. If you talk
yeah,
about cars, your cars will have number, the engine number, chassis number, all those things. Now,
yeah,
you have to add a function which will accept those object level variables. Okay. So by practice, it's recommended that you do in the init, because init is called automatically. So you will not have to write a new function to do that. But if you want, you can write a new function here. I can say, okay, def initialize values, something like that. I call it, okay, and then I'll have the whole thing here. So I'll say enter ABCD. Okay. So in this, the problem is, okay, so let's say I do this. Okay, and here I define ABCD, A comma B comma C comma D. So what I have to do is I have to explicitly call this. I have to explicitly call this. So F1 dot initialize members and say same thing. Okay, this is possible. Okay, now I want to print the title of F1. I can do that. Okay, title of F1. See, title of F1 is learn Python programming. Okay, we can do that, but that's an additional step. Point one.
Yeah.
It's an additional step. Okay, so that's more work. Second, you might forget to initialize. Right? Sometimes you might forget the order in which. See, this has to be by default the first line, because without initializing, how can you use values? You can't use title and print, right? So by default, it has to go, immediately after this, right? It has to go immediately after this, so that you don't forget. You don't use F1 before you initialize the values. So if anyway it has to be used along with this, why not merge them together and do it once?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for that reason, we put all these things, all the initialized things, at least you put it in the, because see, anyway user has to give these values. I cannot say I want to create a book without giving any values. So why not put it in the initialize itself? Okay.
Yeah. Got it. Yeah.
Okay. And initialize is called automatic. You don't have to call. So there's no chance that you'll forget to call. And it is called immediately after creating that object. So even the order you don't have to remember that it has to be before this or after this, because initialize will run immediately the moment object is created, right? So you don't have to remember the order, you don't have to remember to initialize the values, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Okay. So what we have seen till now, four the things I told you, right? So what all things have you seen till now? So in terms of variables and functions and class and objects, what all things we have seen?
There would be local and global variables.
I never used global and local. I'm saying class, object, variable, functions. Tell me the combination that we have already seen. I'm telling you class and object are global. No, use the exact word. So we have seen object variables, right? And we have seen global variables. So variables, we have covered both the things. In functions, we have seen object functions, right? So these are object level functions. You add self here. So object level function. So we are yet to see class level function, right? So see, object level, just like variables are different for different objects, your functions are also different for different object, right? Because when I say f1 dot title, or not right title, give count, give book count is anyway global. So if I were to print, let's say, we have here, right? So let's say display book. I call it as display book. Def display books. Okay. And what I do here is I say print title equal to self dot title. Okay. And I'll do title, author, price, publisher, right? The third one is publisher. And I say price. Okay. So self dot title is title, self dot author, right? Self dot author is author. Self dot publisher is publisher. And self dot price. Okay. So okay. Now I say okay, I'll comment F1. Okay. I'll say F1 dot display books. Right? Now when I run it, so see, I said F1 dot display. Here I have not said, right? I'm not saying that which one we are supposed to use. It knows that if it is being called by F1, it has to get the F1 related information. If it is being called by F2, it will get F2 information. So here simply says self dot title. But the value to self dot title comes from the fact that we are saying F1 dot display. See, F1, F2, F3 for object level variable will give us same value, right? 333 because 3 objects are created. But when you talk about specific class level function, display book is class level function. How do you know display book is class level function? How do you know display book is class level function? This self tells us this is class level function. If it was not self, then it would not have been class level, object level function, right? Self indicates that it is object level function. It is not class level function. It is object level function. So you have self. So when I say F1 dot display book, it fetches, where's this? Yeah, it fetches object level information, right? So display book, okay, F3 will give me F3 information. Okay, so if I go and say F3 dot display, okay, it will give me F3 information. Which is F3 information? We have not initialized F3 in this case, right? We have to initialize F3. So we will initialize F3. So we say, so that's the problem, okay? If I had done it in the init, it would not have allowed me to create object until I pass those values. But since it is in different function, so it is up to you whether you want to do it or not, right? So if I, okay, so let's see if I do F3, then what happens? Okay, it says book has no attribute title for F3 because we have not initialized. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to say initialize F3 here, and I say retail management. Okay. Now when you run it, okay, what happened?
Error.
We still said F1. It should be F3. Right. So now you have F3. You see, F3 retail management sort of publisher 350. Right. So when you initialize it, now you can use it. Display book. Okay. So this is object level function. We have seen object level function. We have seen both the types of variables. Okay. These four are object level variables. Right. Now the last topic is creating function at class level. So when you say class level function, it is common for all. So So, if you give self there, it means it is object level. For class level, you have to write this class method. You have to explicitly say it is class method. Method means function. Okay. The method is also function is also called as method. So you have to say it is class method. At the rate class method you have to write. Then say def. Okay. Uh, count book or something like this. I think. Do we have count book? No, right? Yeah. So count book. Okay. See, the moment I said class method, in the bracket it gives CLS. Okay, not self. The bracket you will have CLS. CLS means it is a class level function. Okay, not object level function. Okay. So now I go here and I display. I'll say print. I can access all the class level variable here. So there are books in this library with a membership of this. So I go and I say format, and here I'll have what? This is book dot right? The book underscore count. So here I'll say book dot book underscore count and comma book dot num members, right? So when I come here, okay, I can call book dot display. No, not display. The book count, right? Book count is the function that we have in the book count. So when I call book count, okay, so here it says that no callable. Okay, it is because so sorry, this is a variable, right? Count book is the function. So you can't call variable with bracket. Variables has to be called without bracket. This will work. This will not throw error, right? But so we can print it here, calling the variable, right? Or you say now print next step, calling the function. Okay. So here I say book dot count book or something, right? Count book, the class name. So when you run it, you see we have so number of membership library has is 100 is printed all from first. Now calling the variable. So when you're calling the variable directly, book dot count, we got 3. Okay, next step calling the function. So there are 3 books in this library with a membership of 100, right? This is how your class level function can be called. Okay, so mostly we'll be using class level variables and object levels functions and class functions and variables. Okay, very rare you'll use class level function, because whatever you want to do at class level, if you have the right variables, you can call it using a object also. F1 dot book one would have also given the same result, right? But in some circumstances, yes, you might have to create class or variable. Okay, is that fine? Any questions so far?
No, it's just, I think I just need to practice a lot.
Yes. Okay. So I'm going to upload it right away. Okay. And I have to upload videos. I'll do the video right away. Okay. For next half an hour, I'll do that, and I will. I'll put the I'll put in the same folder. I'll have create a file called video links. Okay, and there I'll put all the video links. So you'll have the videos as well.
No problem. Thank you.
Sure. Okay, then practice this. Okay, at least first time you see my code and write it down as it is. Then you play with it. You edit, you change, you modify. how about this, how about that, right? But if you don't practice, it's only going to get tougher, because now we are assuming that you know functions. Now we are assuming that you know variables, right? So, and class and objects, is like our our syllabus would be done basically. Okay, class and objects is where our syllabus would be done. From now on, yes, there are a couple of independent topics which we'll be talking about. And when you get into those topics, it means that you know everything that's been discussed till class, right? Any new function or any new topic you take up in Python, till class is assumed that you know, right? They will not write about anything up to class. Beyond class, they'll mention, oh, this is a library, this is a package we are calling, this is module we are calling. They'll explain. But till class and objects, you have to know and practice and be comfortable with.
Okay.
Sure.
I will take
So, yeah.
right.
Voice is not clear, Kapil.
I will take this again.
Give this as I'll probably give it as manufacturing, like maybe like a car or something like that.
Yeah. Feel free to change.
This is
Okay.
how this works.
Yeah. So once you practice exactly like this, and then from second, you can create a lot more functions, right? So first you create so that you get the syntax right. Okay. I'm more interested that you know the
Yeah.
syntax. Okay. Don't miss on the syntax. Once you have this ready, once you know this once, then of course, yes, you try a different way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yep. Then take care.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Bye.
Have a
Thanks.
good
Good day.
day.
Good evening ahead.